Hello, hello, everybody. All of you singers who are wanting to just improve your voice. You are struggling and you don't understand why, and you're tired of it. And I get it. I've been there. And it's so frustrating because you have this sound in your head and you've heard it before. It happens when you're in the car or in the shower and you don't understand why you can't sing it like that consistently and why it doesn't last very long and you're frustrated and you're in the right place because I want to help you get over the hump and out of this frustration area and into the next level of singing. So, today I want to talk to you about what you have heard about one on one singing lessons. Now, before we are finished, if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you three, which is not all, but I'm going to give you three of the things that you will get out of a different type of voice lesson, out of a group type, multi what's the word I'm looking for? Multi-connection point type of learning how to sing. So stay with me so that you can hear what you need to do different to help you get to the next step. So in person, one-on-one lessons have been going on since the beginning of teaching. And that's not just singing, that's teaching of any subject. We all have heard of or have maybe reached out to a tutor for different subjects in school, for maybe our kids who are struggling, or maybe even just to learn a new skill. And in singing, in music especially, it has become almost like the gold standard in everybody's mind of, okay, if I'm going to learn this skill, if I'm going to learn this instrument, if I'm going to be a musician, I have to have one-on-one lessons with a master artist. And while that has its place, and again, it has had its place for the last, I don't know, 80 years or so, believe it or not, before the turn of the 19th century, the standard for learning an instrument, for learning to be a musician, wasn't necessarily one on one. Rather, it was a master class format. It was three people or 10 people, or I haven't read about much larger groups than that, but it was getting together multiple people in a situation with the master, with the teacher, and learning as a group. And there were many benefits from that. So let's go back to this one-on-one and how did it happen and why is it maybe not benefiting you? Now, as music became more available and more musicians happened, there was more availability to have one-on-one lessons. And maybe there were only a few people in each town or whatnot, and the teacher could travel. But what is happening with those one-on-one lessons is, number one, you're only focusing on the issue that you have at that moment. And that issue may or may not be the most common issue that you have outside of that room. Also, it is restrictive as far as time and location. When you are doing one-on-one lessons, you have to adhere to your teacher's schedule and your teacher's location. And so you may need to be driving. You may need to be rearranging all kinds of life things to get to that place and that time. And heaven forbid that you have to miss it for a doctor's appointment or some kind of scheduling conflict, because who knows if your teacher will be able to reschedule at all that week. Yeah, I was going to say beyond that, maybe even, in the next couple of weeks, if it's an every other week type of situation. There's no support throughout the week. When you leave that voice studio or that music studio or that teacher's house, or they leave your house, it's done. You're done for the next 7 days. And whatever problem you face an hour from now, you don't have communication with your teacher. So Now you're sitting with that issue for another week. And then when it comes time to meet with your teacher, you have to make sure you recreate the issue so that you guys can address the issue. So there's no support throughout the week. On top of it, when you leave that lesson, whether it's a 30-minute lesson, an hour lesson, whatever it may be, you walk out of that room, you are going to forget 80% of what the teacher just told you. Because our brains they only work one way, and you can only soak up so much information at one time. So now you've just spent how much money on this one lesson and this time where you have, sure, you have one-on-one focus with the teacher, but you're not even going to remember all of that information. And so you're struggling in between these 6 days in between when you aren't seeing your teacher and you're not getting any feedback and you don't have any support as far as what do I do for a warm up? What do I do in this situation? And and you're just almost spinning your wheels. And it's very frustrating and the progress is so slow. And in the meantime, you're paying for this one-on-one time that you're really not getting full benefits when you're not getting the most benefits that you could. So, what is the alternative, right? Well, we all know as you're sitting here looking at me on a device that technology has given us so many more options in lots of areas. Communicating with people, we have 24-hour connectivity with friends and family and people all over the world. And leveraging that technology has become the next step in music lessons, in learning, in becoming a musician and learning an instrument, including the voice. So, what we can now do is one, we can meet with people all over the world and we don't have to leave our homes, which cuts out travel time, which makes scheduling easier. It can even be done away from your home. Say, okay, I have something that I have to do online at 5 o'clock, but my kiddo needs to be someplace else at 5 o'clock, or my husband, or whatever. I have to be across town at 5:45. Fine. You do your driving time and then you get there and then you can come into your lesson when and where it works for you. Technology has great audio and visual capabilities anymore. One thing, COVID was an awful situation, but one thing that COVID did was really force technology to take another step in being functional. And that's what we're finding, especially with music lessons, that audio quality is so much better. If you have a nice connection, you can collaborate with other artists in a way that was not possible before. And because of these audio and visual upgrades, the ability to assess and diagnose and um, help to correct issues is so much easier. I was one of the teachers that was, as most of us were trying to teach during COVID, and it was a struggle to try and hear what is actually being what's the word, produced, as opposed to what could be produced. And now, 4 years later, we have so much capability to understand what's really happening and to diagnose and then to communicate how can we fix these issues. So what I want you to do, other we talked about forgetting, walking out of the lesson and forgetting. When you are beginning to have instruction online, it's automatically recorded. Now you can go back throughout the week or month or however long the duration is between meetings and walk through those steps with the teacher again and again and again. You can also communicate with your teacher. You can communicate with me throughout the week. Send me a message. I'm confused on this part, or this is tripping me up, or how did we get to that? Or what do I do when this is how I'm feeling right now? How do I assess this? And in addition to just the typing questions, you can post videos and we can assess things throughout the week. So you're no longer in and out, half hour out of the other 7 days. Now you can start to communicate and troubleshoot things in a quicker fashion with quicker response. You also get an opportunity to be in the room with other singers who have similar issues, but you get to now start to train your own ear to listen to them, to hear those problems and self-diagnose. And now you're not just learning to become the performer, but you're also learning to diagnose what is happening so you can start to fix your own issues. As you hear someone else have a problem with that note or with that measure or with that technique, you hear what is going on and you can start to think, oh, maybe that's what it sounds like for me. And then you can start to diagnose it as well. So within a session, you're not only working on your problems that you're having right now, but you start to learn what other issues may arise down the road. How can they be avoided or how can they be fixed and adjusted? So, what is all the benefit of changing this modality besides the time, besides the communication, besides the logistical, areas of convenience of technology? When you switch to having communication, to having an open dialogue, throughout the week, you begin to improve more quickly. You get more for your time and your money, and you are now more efficient in your practice time and in learning new music. You have a record of your performance, which is so motivational. You get to, in all these recordings, you get to go back and look at yourself. Where was I a month ago? When you're getting really frustrated that you're not making any progress, you get to go back and listen. Okay, I can hear that this is different, and I can hear that that is different. Whereas with one-on-one lessons, for one, progress takes a little more time, and two, you don't necessarily have any reference point to check back with yourself. And then you also get to build camaraderie and accountability with a community that you're working with in these groups and that you're communicating with on a weekly basis as you're posting questions and assessing issues. Now you're in this container of other like-minded individuals who are striving for the same goal, and you feel encouraged as you hear their wins, and they get encouraged when you share what you have accomplished. So, what I want you to do is to stop pushing yourself to find that one master that is in your community that will actually help you grow, and start to think about learning as an immersive experience. You can now begin to learn quicker. You can have more support on a daily basis. You can begin to work with others who are in the same boat. And you can even begin to practice your ability to perform in front of others within a lesson situation, which is controlled and forgiving and free of judgment. So you get so many benefits now from technology being upgraded and giving you the opportunity to take your voice to the next level and eliminate some of these stumbling blocks that have been so present in the push for these one-on-one lessons. Now, if you're interested at all in learning more about how to get singing clarity and freedom, feel free to click on the link in my bio or in the description or in the caption, depending on where you're watching from. And you will get an opportunity to register for my free masterclass that will give you 4 steps to achieving vocal or singing freedom and clarity. And you can learn how you can start to improve your singing in an efficient manner, in a healthy way that will take you to the voice that you have been wanting, the voice that you know that you have, the voice that you have been dreaming of. So click on that link and join me soon because we have a couple of masterclasses that are coming up very quickly, and you would be welcome to join us. I hope to see you there. Click on the link, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.